If I could just call the meeting to order, please. I just want to welcome everybody to the Staten Island Borough Board. If we could just start the meeting off by rising and pledging to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, we'll start off with attendance. Everybody is present except the 51st Council District. If everybody could just take a look in their packets. I know Brooke also had emailed them to everybody. And just take a quick minute to review the minutes. And if I can have a motion to accept. Okay, Jerry first. Nick second. Okay, so presentation. First we have Link NYC here. They're going to provide us with an update on the city's free Wi-Fi kiosk program. So, Link, if you want to take the floor.
Do you mind if I stand?
No, not at all. Wherever you're most comfortable.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me over here tonight. I hope you guys are all well. My name is Ruth Castle, and I'm the External Affairs Manager for Link NYC through Intersection and City Bridge. And I just wanted to come here tonight to give you guys an update on the project overall, and then an update on Staten Island, and then answer any questions you have. I'll try to blow through all the basics that you know, just so that I'm not wasting your time and answering what you're interested in. So just a quick reminder, this was all created with the concept of providing free, super fast Wi-Fi for all New Yorkers, visitors, everybody. And when we say super fast, we mean really, really fast. So our Wi-Fi, we are pulling fiber underground to every single Link kiosk, and that provides gigabit speed Wi-Fi, which is about 10 times faster than the Fios I pay for in my own home. So if you were on the Wi-Fi and you wanted to run a speed test or download a movie, it will take a moment, and very, very impressive. And so actually, just to say about that, you don't have to go back or anything, but we did this because we're going to be in the ground for a long time, and we wanted to be able to grow the technology that is going to come. You know, when dial-up started, we could never have imagined Netflix, right? So we built to the largest ability we could, and we're not using nearly all of this space now, but we will as technology grows. So we are in all 5 boroughs. This is one of the first links that went in Staten Island. It was over the holidays. This is on New York. And, you know, we are a new project. This has never existed before. We created this from scratch, bespoke for New Yorkers, by New Yorkers. And we've had to learn a lot to make it as good as it can be. And so this is just a slide on some of the community feedback that I've received. I've been going out to community boards for the last 9-10 months, taking feedback and entering it into action. So a couple of things. When we first deployed, we received some feedback that people weren't used to people using phones out on the street anymore like we used to back in the day. So there was complaints that it was too noisy, and so we reduced the volume at night to 50%. This was also, as I'll jump to the bottom, something that was most famous about this was also back when we had internet browsers on the tablets and people could listen to music and things like that. And so that also reduced to 50%. That is now a non-issue because that's been removed. But we reduced volume to 50% at night on all links. And then we also added dimmers to all the advertisement panels. We received feedback that it felt too bright. So we actually have ambient light dimmers there now so they react to the light around them. So during the day, they get a little brighter. At night, they get darker. And that's really helped with that. And then as I stated, when we first started, there was an internet browser on the tablet. It had filters like any library or things like that, but it still led to people, long-term users, we call them, spending a lot of time at the Link kiosks, which this is meant to be used for everybody. It's meant to be used on the go, and it just wasn't, we weren't being able to get the total access that we wanted for everyone. So we removed the full internet browser, and you can now currently make free phone calls anywhere in the United States from the tablet. You can search maps, so you can go to the maps and say, I want to find Staten Island Borough Hall and get walking directions or driving. And then you also have access to 311 and all the websites 311 would lead to. So if you want to make an appointment for your New York City ID, you can still do that from the tablet. And then the internet that comes out of the links, you can join from your phone or your computer at any device that accepts internet, and that you can do whatever you would like with. Go do anything you would normally do on the internet. So just a quick statement about data. People are actually using it. We've been in the ground less than a year. We already have 1 million Wi-Fi users that have signed up and are using our Wi-Fi, which is great, that's based off of about 550 links that are active, 85 million Wi-Fi sessions, and about 644 terabytes of data. If you think about the fact that an average phone plan might be 2 gigabytes for an entire month, and we've gone through 644 terabytes of data, I think there's a huge portion of New York that has really been able to use this, which is the person that has a phone plan, but maybe they have to watch what they call and what they spend and do very carefully because they're on a budget. Something like this can really help, including myself, people like that. So, a quick slide on Staten Island. As of January 30th, we had 5 links installed and 3 active. I have another slide that will show the map of that. So we do Wi-Fi data in month versions. Big part of what we talk about here is privacy. Everything we share is all extremely anonymized and aggregated. So we are talking about data from the month of December. So these links were installed on December 9th. And for the rest of the month, we had 15,000 Wi-Fi sessions in Staten Island alone. And these were the 2 links, and they each had hundreds and sometimes nearly 2,000 users that had connected to the link in those 22 days. So we removed the web browser, as I said, but we're going to do ongoing timely items on the tablet that will be useful for all, or sometimes cute or fun. When the election was happening, you could find out where to register and how, register to vote and where should you go vote information up there. We also had a cute Call Santa campaign, which had almost 5,000 people call. You got a recording of Santa and you could leave a message. And there's something like 40 or 50 people that called on Christmas Day, and I think those are the people that were unhappy with what they got. This is a nice slide just about some of the things that we also are doing just for more community engagement. City programs have a percentage of ad space where they can advertise information. So this was one that ran already, Vision Zero, on New Year's Eve in Times Square. The mayor's office used a really creative way of directing people to subway entrances. So these 5 links would say, you should enter subway at 40th and 8th. And these 5 would say, please go across the street to this entrance. And it was really useful. And then we also just launched this local business offer, which is open to any physical business near a link, and near is a very liberal term. And you can, for $250 for a week, can advertise. It's kind of a plug and play situation. So that's how we're able to get such a low price for this. And you can have your location, your logo, and it plays for a full week, once every about 45 seconds to a minute. And so there's some really cool things that people can do with that. And we've seen a couple of small business sales start so far, but I'm really excited to grow that, because that is another thing that just came out of community board feedback, was going back and creating that plan. And then we also have nonprofit offers for maybe a company that has more than one location or is not a physical space like a restaurant, but is a nonprofit and does good for the community. As I said, first of its kind, we're learning a lot. Some things that we've learned is, obviously we're pulling fiber underground, as I said, and most of New York has conduit underground, and we had a certain assumption of how much would be clean and clear. There's been a lot of blockages that we're working through, but it's good because as we go, the blockages get fixed, or we figure out another way around, so we're getting a great understanding of the underground of New York City. We have to have really close coordination with Verizon. I think in the beginning it was more put in an application, wait, and get access. Now it's let's touch base a lot, let's figure out how to work together. Obviously Verizon is a huge player in everything conduit, everything manholes, everything New York. We have the right to be anywhere there's an old phone booth, but we're finding that about 1/3 of old phone booth locations can't become a link for one reason or another. Maybe we have very strict sighting requirements, more strict than the old phone booth. So maybe the sidewalk's too skinny, maybe there was a vault underground, whatever it may be. All of these locations that can't become links are going to be removed before the end of this project and just paved over, so sidewalk will open back up. And also a quick statement about links. The footprint they make on the ground and the size is smaller than old phone booths. So on our largest side is about an inch skinnier than phone booths on their skinniest side. And then our small side is 11 inches wide, where old phone booths may have been 1, 2, or 3 phone banks wide. So let's see, anything else? Oh, just some other things. So big part of why I've come out to community boards and how I've interacted with Staten Island thus far is since so many locations do fall out, we have the opportunity to request new locations that would be good for our system and for Staten Island, for residents, whatever it may be, but all of those have to be vetted through a comment period, through community board bids, when relevant, borough president and council members. So we've already done this with community board 2, and we've got a slide on that. So also just, it takes 15 weeks, a perfect site where there was a phone booth, it fits siting, it gets all the permits, it's gonna become a link. The perfect site is still a 15-week process for every single one. So it's a very intense project. So here is Staten Island thus far. We have 5 links in the ground as of today, Community Board 2 and 3, and City Council District 50. The next one. These are the ones that are in progress. Again, that's that same area because, as I said, we're pulling fiber, so we pull the fiber and then can build up above ground where the fiber has gone. You'll see we've got the 4 green ones are the ones that are ready to be installed, so in a couple of weeks. We have 1 link that is under construction underground, so that could be fixing or building conduit, pulling the fiber through, things like that. And 1 link that is with DOT, waiting for permitting. And then we have 20 or so sites that have gone through community board comment, and we're given approval by the community board, so now we're starting the process from there. So that's where we are right now. And then this is just a little line that shows you what's happening underground. So this is the fiber route plan for year 1 and year 2. You know, it changes every day, so I'm not exactly sure where the fiber is at the moment. But an interesting point worth noting is we have to start from an ad pop. That's where the internet comes into any area. And for Staten Island, for this project, this is where the ad pop was. So it was very far away. So we had to pull the fiber all throughout down there, and now we're expanding out from that. So some areas we plan to expand are Highland, New York, and Richmond, which are really areas we are in already, but we're expanding in areas, you know, I think this is one of the little arches and down here. And this is on the computer. I'm happy to email this presentation out to anyone who wants it. Let's see, is there anything else? I think the next page is just contact. This is my contact information as well as Ann. I have Ann Koenig here from Do It. We obviously are a franchise and we work really closely with Do It. They are our city partners and we're very lucky to have them. So thank you for letting me give a quick overview. Happy to take feedback, comments.
I have one question. How long,
Yes.
how you said you could handle a lot of abandonment. How long is the range? So if I'm sitting in a park, how far do I have to be to connect to the city?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the promise is 150 feet from a single link. However, in practice, we're seeing a lot more than that. And I actually think in a place like Staten Island, it will be more than that because it's only really in Midtown Manhattan where there's a lot of obstructions that you'll see maybe the minimum. So we're seeing up to a half football field worth of length.
And you don't have to physically go to the kiosk to log
No.
in?
No, if you can, I always say to somebody, if you can see one, you're probably close enough where you just open up your device, go to the Wi-Fi settings and select Link NYC. We have 2 Wi-Fi options. There's Link NYC, which is just an open network, such you might get in Starbucks or things like that. It's what free internet is, and we always, big part of my job as well is working on internet education to go to smart sites, make sure it says HTTP, things like that. But then we have an additional one that is also free. It's just not currently available on all devices. We're hoping it will be soon, but you can download an encryption key and be on the private network, which literally creates kind of a funnel between your device and the link, so no one around you can even see that you're on it. But another statement about that is just, I remember there was a TV news thing at one point a couple weeks ago where they showed how you could see all the information around the world, going past this computer. It was all the Wi-Fi information, but that's still all encrypted, So if you are on a Wi-Fi network and then you go to a site that's a good, strong encrypted site, your information is going to be much safer. But so there's that, or there's the completely encrypted network, both free.
Yeah, and, I'm just gonna add on that because it's something that comes up a lot. People say, well, why do you have so many of them kind of clumped together? And there are, in fact, distance requirements from one link to the next, but having them kind of lined up along a strip has advantage because because it is this at minimum 150-foot radius of coverage. If they're reasonably close together, then as you're walking along, you have continuous uninterrupted Wi-Fi. So that's part of the idea. And the other thing I just wanted to add, the people who are really going to feel it are the commercial businesses along the streets where they're installed, because 150 feet, when you think about it, reaches pretty far into the private property. And even though these are designed really for sidewalk use, for outdoor use, if the store owners benefit, the merchants benefit, their customers benefit, that's
I was on the 19th floor of the building, and I was able to get Wi-Fi from a link that was directly below it. That was great, and I used it.
Okay, any other questions?
Do you have any installations in this Community Board 1?
Not yet, so where the fiber is now is just the plan thus far, but we build and then branch out. So the plan is to replace all the old phone booths, so we'll get there, but it's a process of pulling the fiber and balancing between the 5 boroughs. But I know the St. George area is a big area of interest for all of New York, and so it's an area we talk about a lot, figure out how to get there.
Do you have an estimated time as to when that will happen?
I don't have an estimated time, but we work really closely with the city, and I'm always happy to provide updates as we go along, as people want. But at this moment, I don't have an estimated time.
it's a total 8-year build-out period, and you're in year 2.
That's true.
So that limits it, but I think it will be sooner than that.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Also.
Just Community Board 3, which is the southern tip of Staten Island, we're talking about a couple of years before this gets here?
You actually have one already in Community Board 3. Or I think, where does it start? Maybe Ames might be 3. Do you know what your northernmost border is? I was looking at the map the other day with the Community Board filters on it, and there is one link that's right in Community Board 3. So.
But to expand, you'd have to do
Oh.
cables throughout the
Let's
whole,
go back to the one with the fiber.
excuse me?
This one. So this is where we'll be building on for the next, we're in year 2, as she said, so year 2 runs through the end of the summer, so that's what we're talking about right now. So if however much fiber this is 3, that could and will be built on, and then, yeah, in following years, we would expand out.
So when do you anticipate coming to the Community Board 3 to discuss it? When you're closer to getting it done, or?
I mean, I'd be happy to do either. If you thought the community board could benefit just from an update, I'm happy to come out. Or when we do get closer, particularly when there's the greenfield requests, which are those sites that have not been previous phone booths, I always offer to come out and talk to the community boards through that process.
New York City Department of Finance. Now, we can put ads on there, it's Department C, right?
Oh, on the 55-inch screens, yeah, there's 5% of the screens that are saved for city agencies, under mayoral agencies.
That's free.
It's free, and it's managed through NYC and Co.
So how do we go about doing that? Because I want to get some
Yeah,
ads up there.
that's great. I can give you a card, and I can put you in touch with the exact person at NYC and Co. or anyone in your office. I assume there's someone in your office who might already communicate with them, since they handle city ads on phone booths right now and bus shelters and things like that. But yep.
So we would be competing with private advertising now.
The city is guaranteed 5% of the space at all times.
Okay, good.
And so that's the DOT ad that's already been up, and NYC and Co. has ads playing at all times. Come see Botanical Gardens, kind of whatever, all sorts.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
I'll
welcome.
leave this on the computer.
Okay.
If anyone wants it.
Okay, so, board members, I know initially I had sent out on the agenda that we were only going to hear from Link NYC, but we are going to add city planning as a last minute because there was some confusion going on, and I didn't get the memo that they would be coming to the February meeting, but it's only there will be no motion or anything like that, it's just informational purposes. And so we're gonna hear regarding the proposed citywide text amendment to restrict self-storage facilities in industrial business zones. So, you have the floor.
I'm sorry, I guess there was some miscommunication, I won't take too much of your time. And yes, this is only for informational purposes, we are in the process of, we're gonna release scoping notice in a while, and we're gonna have a scoping hearing in March, so we just wanted you to know that this is happening. And, ULURP won't begin for several months to come, so.
Yeah, I was going to hi, Langer, Adrian, Langer, here in Staten Island, see all the guys. Amanda Iyer is the project manager with the city planning, and Barry Dinnerstein is, you probably seen him before, out here on the island, who's with our housing, HEIP housing.
Housing Economic Infrastructure Planning.
Thank you. Division, who's actually taking the lead within the agency. This is a mayoral initiative which was announced a couple of months ago, looking at trying to ensure that where we've got industrial business zones mapped throughout the city, that we're actually creating jobs in those areas. There's been found that self-storage facilities, which are allowed in manufacturing zones, don't necessarily create the jobs that we anticipate to have in IBZs. So the mayor made a commitment to try and, restrict them in the future so that we can actually have IBZs creating jobs as opposed to creating storage space. So with that, I'm going to throw it to Amanda, who's actually presented this to, we've already been out to, I guess, all the borough presidents, make these presentations and going out to community boards, borough boards throughout the city to actually inform them before this actually advances further.
So I'll go straight to, slide 4 maybe, which, just self-storage, what we're seeing is that self-storage is developing in IBCs, and it doesn't generate many jobs. It uses sites that would be pretty optimal for industrial businesses because they site on very large lots that are typically along highways or along truck routes. And also self-storage is predominantly used by households, also to a certain extent by businesses, but less so. So we just don't think that it's an optimal use for these industrial business zones, which are also mapped in Staten Island. And so currently self-storage is permitted in all C8 and M districts, but we want to implement a special permit in the IBZ parts of the M districts. We think IBCs are special and that land needs to be preserved for industrial businesses in these areas. Other areas, what we're seeing is that self-storage is in relatively high demand, does fulfill a certain need in New York households and also for some New York City businesses. And so there is, we think in IBCs restricting self-storage is adequate, but we wouldn't want to expand restrictions because there is a certain demand also for self-storage. In New York City, there are over 200 facilities, but Staten Island has a relatively small share of those. There are only, and that's on page, let's see, page 10, there are only 12 self-storage facilities on Staten Island, and 2 are in the pre-construction phase, so are under construction currently, I believe. 1/4 of those, so 3 out of the 12 are currently in the IBZs. So one could say that it is less of an issue here, but this is a citywide proposal, so we are also talking about Brooklyn, Queens, and Bronx, where there has been more self-storage development in IBZs. What we are going to implement is a special permit for self-storage, so one could potentially still develop self-storage, one would just have to apply for a special permit to develop self-storage in IBZs. The special permit will have certain findings, and the idea is to allow self-storage only when it is only when it's proposed to be built on a site where we don't think realistically an industrial business would actually ever go there. We want to make sure that the large sites on truck routes are reserved for industrial businesses in the future, which tend to be more job intensive. But we also see that some sites, realistically there isn't an opportunity for an industrial business to go in there. And so on those sites, we do want to allow self-storage by the special permit process.
Prior to this, they could just go anywhere, right? They could just build,
In MNCA zones, yes, if that's right, they can build anywhere as to what the zoning allows, yeah.
In some of the areas of Staten Island, it might require some type of action by city planning or ultimately by city council, but by and large, yes, they can go in any animal proceeding.
There's a map that shows, the map on page 10 shows where they can go. It's a bit small. I also have a larger map here that you can see if you would like, that shows where the M districts are, where the C8 districts are, and the purple portion is the portion that we are proposing to and have a special permit for self-storage. And this map has the self-storage facilities and also sort of the M districts and the IBZs, which I'm happy to link with you. Is there anything else you absolutely need to know? What we're also doing is that we know that other types of warehousing is very common in IBZs, and that is also an industrial sort of use, and we do not want to restrict that because it could actually harm business activity. So we're writing a definition we're writing it in such a way as to make sure that it really only captures self-storage and not other types of warehousing or moving businesses or art storage, which we don't think is necessary or adequate to restrict. And the self-storage that currently exists, we would grandfather those, so they would still be allowed to continue to operate as a grandfather facility.
Would they still have to apply for the permit?
They would. The ones that exist today would not have to apply for the permit. Yeah.
As long as if they can expand on their current lot. If they wanted to expand on a separate lot, then that would require a special permit. That they expand where they're currently located.
What this would mean for anybody who would want to develop self-storage in IBCs is that they would have to apply for a special permit, and according to our calculations, it's an average of about 22 months, almost 2 years of the process, where first they come to city planning, we have longer conversations about, we craft the land use and the environmental applications, and once everything is deemed to be ready, it goes into order. And then there's community board review, borough president review, the planning commission review, and all of the regular review process that you're very familiar with. Maybe we'll go straight to questions. Oh, so just about this process, we want to let you know that this is happening. We're gonna hold a scoping hearing in March, late March. We can give you the exact date. We're just sorting out the exact date right now, but we can let you know when that is, and then it's a public hearing, so everybody's invited to come and give testimony.
And then you would have to come back to us for a vote too as well?
Yes.
When do you anticipate that might be?
It depends a bit on the environmental review, but we'll try to refer it out in May,
Okay,
meaning that it would be here in May or June.
okay.
And we understand that most community boards, and you probably don't meet over the summer, so it would either be before that or then as of September.
So
Okay.
the scoping hearing that Amanda was referring to is for the draft environmental impact statement in advance of certification.
Okay.
Just make sure that everyone's aware of it, it's out there, and before the environmental impact statement is complete, that we're getting community input on what needs to be addressed in the final EIS. And, while we're targeting certification in May, we're going to the community boards first, before going to the borough board.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay, thank you. I apologize for the,
I'm sorry, if you do have any questions, I have some cards here, don't hesitate to reach out.
And I would also ask community boards, if you think it'd be helpful for us to provide a presentation in advance at one of your land use committees. Otherwise, we can do it once it's referred out. Just let us know.
Once
if you have
referred out.
questions.
okay. Okay, moving right along through the rest of the meeting, correspondence. We do not have any correspondence this month. Does anybody have any old business to bring up? Any new business to bring up? Okay, can I entertain a motion to adjourn? Okay, Jerry first, Nick second. Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for
May I have a
coming.